Amid the captivating view of the Zhengyang sect, a cold voice announced that the outer disciple Yi Chen would no longer be able to practice martial techniques because of his ruptured dantian. Therefore, Yi Chen is hereby expelled from Zhengyang sect, and he is no longer permitted to enter the mountains of Zhengyang sect in his entire life, not even half a step. Yi Chen doesn't seem to accept the decision, and he argues, saying that he did all this because of the sect. The old man exclaims that he should be silent as he's a mere piece of trash, but still he dares to find excuses to stay here. Yi Chen regrets each moment in which he did so much for the sect, and yet he is treated like this. 3 days ago, Yi Chen was on his way back to the sect when he encountered a strange person. He asks that person to show up and asks who he is. The man stands at a distance and tells him that it doesn't matter who he is and asks him to be a good boy and hand over the elixir. This arrogant man is Lu Zhai, and he belongs to the Qingyun sect. Lu Zhai warns Yi Chen about handing over the elixir to him, and he might still consider sparing his lowly life. Yi Chen is in no mood to be a good boy, so he unsheathes his sword and attacks Lu Zhai first. Surprisingly, Lu Zhai neatly dodges his attack, leaving Yi Chen wondering where he went. Lu Zhai was not only wise enough to keenly dodge the attack, but he also made a slight cut on Yi Chen's neck. Yi Chen now knew that this man had remarkable speed and that it would be fatal if he didn't react fast enough, but again he was too late. Lu Zhai attacked him with his palm. His palm techniques were fierce beyond comparison, but they only damaged the outer body. Yi Chen was well aware of the fact that Lu Zhai could easily kill him, but he was toying with him. Lu Zhai attacks Yi Chen once more, and he advises him to just kill himself. Lu Zhai traps Yi Chen, and this time he breaks his dantian. Yi Chen is shocked by his despicable behavior, as all he did was toy with him, and now his dantian has been destroyed. Moreover, he also stole the elixir and just walked away. The old man informs Yi Chen that he has nursed him back to health in these 3 days, and this is already good enough for him. Yi Chen is heartbroken. He addresses the old man as Elder Wu and tells him that he had grown up here since he was a child. But it turns out that Elder Wu was cold-hearted. Yi Chen then declares that, from this day onwards, he is no longer a part of the Zhengyang sect. He knows that this kind of sect gives him too many heartaches, so he decides to leave. Outside, the practitioners gather and gossip about Yi Chen. Some refer to him as trash, while others refer to him as useless. 2 of them want to send him off because, in the past, Yi Chen always treated them well. Meanwhile, Zhao Kang interrupts Yi Chen and taunts him as he is about to leave the sect. Yi Chen is instantly annoyed by Zhao Kang's presence. Zhao Kang approaches him and asks him why he looks a bit down today, and he tells Yi Chen that his heart aches looking at his younger brother. Yi Chen tries to walk away, but Zhao Kang stops him so that he doesn't leave. He tells Zhao Kang to leave him alone, and the evil guy laughs at him and calls him a worthless being. Zhao Kang asks him if he still thinks that he is still the great Yi Chen from the past. He makes fun of him and tells him that if he wants to leave, Yi Chen should crawl through his legs, and then maybe Zhao Kang might be generous and reward him with some spirit stones as well. Zhao Kang laughs out loud and irritates Yi Chen. The other practitioners tell Zhao Kang that this is a bit too inappropriate, and he gives them a death stare so they shut up immediately. Zhao Kang asks Yi Chen for the last time if he is crawling through his legs or not. Meanwhile, Jianing Shuang appears, and everyone present there can't take their eyes off her as she is so pretty. She walks towards Yi Chen, but Zhao Kang approaches her first. He greets her, but Jianing Shuang ignores him and walks away. She gets closer to Yi Chen and bids him farewell. Yi Chen wonders what she is up to and if she is pitying him because he doesn't need it. Yi Chen tells her that he's leaving, but she seems to be reluctant to let go of him. Yi Chen wanders at night, and he reminisces about his good old times at the Zhengyang sect. He looks at the moon and wonders where his home is. The following moment, a dazzling star fell from the sky. A fallen comet often has thousands of possibilities for having hidden treasures. He walks towards the golden star, and he notices that it is burning like fire. He soon realizes that it is true fire. Yi Chen proceeds towards the fire and wonders if the fire was also abandoned. He picks up the fire in his hand and finds it interesting. The fire swiftly surrounds Yi Chen, and it then enters his body. It swirls around his elixir field, and it actually repairs his meridians. Hang on. The golden fire rapidly enlarges and forms into a divine sea. It ranges from Kai condensation to heavenly immortality. The soul sea is one step higher than dantian cultivation. Only by fixing the dantian and entering half-step heavenly immortal, then only one could truly develop a divine sea. He passes out and collapses on the ground due to excessive energy consumption. The next morning, Yi Chen awakens in a house, and a little boy next to him exclaims that he finally woke up. He asks the kid who he is. Yi Chen also demands to know where he is and why he is here. The boy tells him that this is the MANHUA sect spirit and explains how he had fainted last in the forest by the hill, and his grandpa found him and brought him here. In the Greater Chu Kingdom, there was one school and 3 sects: the Bloodthirsty Poison Tyrant School of North Chu, the Zhangyang Sect, the Qinyun Sect, and the MANHUA Sect, which rules over the South Chu. Yi Chen was well aware of the fact that the Zhangyang Sect and the MANHUA Sect were not on good terms. Not long ago, he had been banished by the Zhangyang Sect, and today he was here at the MANHUA Sect. His fate is really strange. The little boy tells Yi Chen that he must be hungry, and he goes to get some food for him. Yi Chen reflects on last night, and he's sure that it was not a dream and this is the real deal. He looks at the fire and assigns it a mission, and in the future it shall aid his revenge. Yi Chen was busy concentrating on the fire when the little boy called him to eat. He heads outside, and the boy waves out to Yi Chen, indicating the direction. The little boy is sitting with his grandfather, and they have an eagle besides them. The grandfather tells Yi Chen that it's just a simple meal and asks him to help himself. Yi Chen notices the spirit beast, and it looks like one proud eagle. They eagerly began to dig in their food, and Yi Chen tells the old man that he hasn't thanked him yet. The old man tells him that he is just lending a hand to someone in need. He then addressed the boy as Little Fa and told him to eat quickly. Little Fa sees the eagle looking at Yi Chen, and he warns the bird, saying that he shouldn't glare at Yi Chen, and gives him a piece of meat. The eagle excitedly grabs the piece, and Little Fa pats him, saying that he is a good boy. The grandfather then inquires about Yi Chen and asks whether he is also a martial artist. He also inquires as to which sect he belongs to. Yi Chen tells him that he doesn't come from any sect or clan and is just a loose practitioner. The old man suggests to him that he should find a good martial sect to join as he is in the prime of his youth. By joining a sect, he might be able to acquire some cultivation resources, and he doesn't even need to worry about the future. It will definitely lift some weight off his shoulders. Yi Chen totally agrees with the old man. Being a loose practitioner is indeed dangerous, and being in a sect as a disciple would at least grant some protection. In addition, the sect would also provide him with cultivation materials. The old man then offers Yi Chen to join the MANHUA sect as a disciple, and Yi Chen is obviously interested, but he knows that the qualifications to enter the MANHUA sect are not easy. The old man assures him that he will write a letter of recommendation for them and that he will easily be accepted as a disciple. Yi Chen gestures and thanks the old man in advance. The old man tells him that being able to meet him is considered as pure fate. Even the eagle can't deny it and proudly exclaims that his grandfather is the best. Meanwhile, a guy crazily kicks open the door and enters, asking them what they're eating. Little Fa seems to be instantly annoyed and asks Zhang Tao what he is doing here. Both of them looked kind of scared. Zhang Tao refers to the old man as an old fart and warns him that if he doesn't quickly hand over something, he shouldn't blame Zhang Tao for being rude. The old man clearly tells him that he doesn't have the thing that he wants. Zhang Tao quietly approaches the old fart and suddenly lifts up the tablet and flings it away. He warns the old man, saying that he shouldn't make him ask for it twice. Both Little Fa and Little Eagle rage in anger. The eagle tries to attack Zhang Tao, but the evil guy strikes first and sighs for the eagle to die. The eagle crashes to the ground with a thud. Little Fa is extremely worried about the beast. Zhang Tao tells them that he still has more techniques that are worse than death and suggests to the old man that he should hand over it or he will raise his hand one more time. Yi Chen taps him on the shoulder, and Zhang Tao wants to make sure that this guy dies too. Yi Chen hits Zhang Tao straight in the face, and the guy is seriously surprised by the sudden attack. Zhang Tao yells at Yi Chen, asking him if he's tired of living as he dared to hit him. Yi Chen doesn't seem to be interested in listening to Zhang Tao's bullshit, and attacks him again. He picks him up and flings him to the ground. This is a really serious fight. The old man observes Yi Chen and notes how Zhang Tao had been defeated in one move. Even if Yi Chen is an expert, his strength is still too terrifying. Yi Chen then throws Zhang Tao out of the gate and reminds him that the heavens are watching and that he needs to do more good for himself. Later at night, the grandfather expresses his gratitude towards Yi Chen, and he politely tells the old man that he was just doing what must be done. The old man tells him that he is actually an elder of the MANHUA sect, but he had made a grave mistake, which is why he was in this small spirit garden. He also tells Yi Chen about how Zhang Tao was his disciple and he failed to teach him well. Yi Chen tells the grandfather that he shouldn't blame himself because it was not his fault. Little Fa informs Yi Chen that Zhang Tao is actually trying to steal his grandpa's celestial skill book. Moreover, all these years his grandfather had been handing out stuff to Zhang Tao, yet he would come every day and disturb them. Yi Chen knew that there are 3 sacred treasures in the MANHUA sect, and one of them is the celestial skill book. Once bound to a person, it will increase that person's true Kai in a short span of time. This kind of skill is very precious and is not widely available. Who would have guessed that this old man had it in his possession? The old man then informs Yi Chen that he has finished writing the recommendation letter and he can go up to the mountain tomorrow. He also tells him that his talents are not low and it shouldn't be wasted. The old man gives Yi Chen the Hangyu Sect's beginner's manual and tells him to read it carefully. Yi Chen thanks him for the help and guidance. Next, Yi Chen is seen doing some serious practice, and he soon learns the rushing lighting palm, which is an offensive skill with the power of lighting and the booming force of thunder. It is indeed a powerful move, and this kind of skill will leave a large strain on his body, so he needs to be careful when using it. Otherwise, he might end up getting hurt by it too. Yi Chen was lucky to have the true fire tempering his body, strengthening the bones and tendons. But he still needs to be careful while using this thunder palm technique. The Hangyu sect is divided into 1 temple, 1 hall, 2 gardens, 3 peaks, and 8 pavilions. At the Jifa temple, when the elders do something wrong, they are judged there. As for the Jialu hall, if a student does something wrong, they are judged there. The 2 gardens are known as the Spirit Herb and Spirit Fruit Gardens. Next, the Tianyang Peak, the Taiyang Peak, and the Renyang Peak encompass the 3 major peaks of the Hangyu sect. As for the 8 pavilions, there are namely Spirit, Collection, Books, Pills, Treasures, Weapon, Mission, Information, and the 9 Clear. Yi Chen goes to the seniors and shows them the recommendation letter given by Zhang Feng Nian. The seniors find it strange, and now it's time for them to decide who will be Yi Chen's master. One of them asks Yi Chen his age, and he tells them that he is 16 years old. The 3 of them quickly excuse themselves and tell King Yi that they have some important issues at their respective peaks. King Yang knows that Yi Chen is far from reaching Renyang Peak's qualification, and he goes away too. King Yi then tells Yi Chen that he can now enter the sect as an outer disciple. He gives Yi Chen his jade tablet, on which his name is engraved. He briefs him with some additional rules and tells Yi Chen to wait for 3 months for the results. King Yi directs Yi Chen to go to the weapon pavilion so that he can get himself a spirit weapon. He does as he is told and reaches the weapon pavilion. Chow Tai Fuk, the weapon pavilion's caretaker, greets him, and Yi Chen informs him that he is a newly appointed outer sect student, and that he is here to get a weapon. Chow Tai Fuk tells him to go to the first floor and choose a weapon. Yi Chen checks out the weapons and finds a bunch of trashy items. The weapons are light and seem to be useless. Finally, his eyes fall on the Heaven's Breaker, and the true fire rushes out of his body as if it wanted to choose the weapon. The Heaven's Breaker weighs about 200 kilograms, and Yi Chen finds that it is really a weird sword. It's impossible to cut anyone with this unsharpened tip and its weight. But if Yi Chen used it to smash someone, it wouldn't be a bad choice of weapon. Ultimately, Yi Chen decides to choose the Heaven's Breaker. The caretaker advises him to choose a lightweight weapon as this is not an ordinary broadsword. He informs Yi Chen that this sword has been here for at least 100 years, and he knows nothing about its origin. After all, Yi Chen is still willing to stick to the same sword, and he walks away with it proudly. The other disciples recognize the sword and wonder who this kid is, as none of them have ever seen him. Suddenly, someone spots a Zhengyang sect's pupil, and the others wonder what the Zhengyang sect's people are doing at their Hangyu sect. Both the sects were going to have a competition in 3 months' time. Another disciple notices that Zhengyang's female disciple is very pretty, and he praises her. Yi Chen never knew that they would meet so soon, and he swears to take his revenge one day. Jai Ningxuang finds a familiar aura, but she soon brushes off the thought. Later, Yi Chen finds a spot, cuts off 2 fingers, and runs his finger on the Heaven's Breaker. The sword absorbs the blood, and now the sword belongs to him. The sword lets out tons of information, which it rushes forcefully into Yi Chen's brain. He knew that this was indeed a secret technique, and he really picked up a hidden treasure. He sits in the lotus position and meditates so that he can comprehend the skill. And boom, hard work eventually pays off. Yi Chen drinks the elixir, and now it seems that he has to take some quests in the inner sect to earn more elixirs. Yi Chen heads towards the hunting hall, and people start criticizing him when they see him with the Heaven's Breaker. They feel like he was dropped on his head as a child. He ignores them and chooses a mission from the task pavilion. But a guy named Zhao Long snatches the Blood Wolf mission from him and asks Yi Chen if he is not ready to accept it. Yi Chen lets go of the mission and tells his senior that if he wants to take it, then he's fine with it, and tries to walk away. Zhao Long grabs him by his shoulder but is shocked to feel the strangeness of the fire. He really did underestimate Yi Chen. And of course, Yi Chen was not showing any hostility towards him. Zhao Long laughs at him. He then reminds Yi Chen of how he beat his younger brother, and now he dares to say that he doesn't show hostility. Zhao Long tells him that he's got guts and threatens him by saying that his life is no longer precious. Yi Chen clarifies that Zhang Tao was the one who had started the fight, and he was unwillingly pulled into it. Zhao Long sarcastically claps and tells him that he just loves people who pretend to be weak and powerless. People around them estimate if these two are going to fight or not, and they wonder if Yi Chen has taken the wrong medicine as he was ready to fight with a senior. An old man interrupts them and asks them if they are causing a ruckus. He reminds the disciples that this is the mission pavilion and not a place for them imbeciles to fight. And if they wish to fight, they can settle this in the Fangyun stage. Zhao Long warns Yi Chen by saying that he will sooner or later get his revenge, and Yi Chen lets him know that he'll be waiting for him. Yi Chen then chooses another mission, and he gets a card that displays a fire wolf. He heads towards the demonic forest, and on the way he spots some spirit grass. Interestingly, the next moment, a demon shows up, and he's covered in purple flames. Yi Chen exclaims that he was just looking for him and asks him to sing for him. This boy is actually going to attack the demon. That one attack was enough, and the mission is complete. But wait, there's someone else there. Yi Chen hears someone saying that this is a neutral ground and sneak attacks are forbidden. An old man pops out of nowhere and tells Yi Chen that his sense is not bad. He then threatens Yi Chen and tells him that he should hand all of them over and he'll spare his life, or else the old man will make sure that he suffers. Yi Chen feels pressurized as he was only on the first stage of Kai condensation, and he didn't have any treasures to hand over. The old man understood that this guy didn't seem to obey him. He attacks Yi Chen and tells him that he shouldn't blame this old man for anything. Of course, Yi Chen wasn't going to blame him, and the very next moment, he attacked the old man with the rushing lighting palm. The old man seems to recognize Yi Chen and tries to clarify it. Yi Chen uses the lighting palm skill and injures the old man. The old man is not sure whether Yi Chen was poisoned or not. Yi Chen was indeed poisoned, but surprisingly, the poison helped him refine his fire, and now the old man was knocked off by him. Yi Chen searches the old man thoroughly, and he concludes that his possessions are not that shabby. He finds some items, a spirit elixir, and more than 500 spirit stones. Yi Chen finds a lot of poisons and decides that he'll definitely use them. This oldie was indeed loaded. He discovers a book amongst the items he found, and he's instantly curious about the book. Yi Chen soon opens the book and wonders if the book really grants whatever one wishes for. He exclaims that this book was indeed magical and that he has successfully earned another treasure. Yi Chen believes more in hard work, so he decides to practice some new skills. The first one being the evil wolf catches rabbit, followed by the tiger's paw strength. The next one was the great ape's agility, after which Yi Chen was completely exhausted. As soon as he decides to take a rest, he spots something strange in the sky. It was the Void Soul Realm. Rows of monks, spiritual condensations, and humans wanted to ascend to the heavens. They needed to ride the spirit beasts that can fly. If Zhangyang Sect students want to fly, they will use a flying sword. Such people could attain the spiritual realm, and they could control the divine. If they can enter the Void Soul Realm, they will not need the aid of spirit beasts, a spirit sword, or a divine rainbow. Instead, they could fly on their own. Yi Chen looks at the girl and exclaims that she's so beautiful. Yes, she's absolutely beautiful. Yi Chen then notices 3 people behind her and learns that she is being chased. This has nothing to do with Yi Chen. He clearly knew that he shouldn't get mixed up in this and should take the best way out. He walks away a little bit further than the girl, and he soon spots her. She's behind him. One of the 3 men screams and asks her where she's hiding and warns her to come out. Yi Chen now knows that the girl is in danger, and he tells her to stay behind a bush. He also adds up, saying that she shouldn't make a single noise. Yi Chen then approaches those 3 men, and he greets them. He then tells them that he is just an ordinary mortal who is passing by. One of them asks Yi Chen if he saw anyone pass through here. He also warns the boy to tell him the truth. Yi Chen confidently tells the man that he believes that the person went that way. The 3 men are confused, and they again warn Yi Chen, saying that if he dares to lie to them, he'll suffer a very horrible death. The other man wants to hurry up as he knows that the girl is heavily injured and was given an aphrodisiac, so technically she wouldn't be able to go too far. They decide to continue to chase her and bring her back to the first prince. Yi Chen finally breathes after they leave. The girl comes out of the bush and stares at Yi Chen. But oh no, she is about to faint. Yi Chen tells her to be careful and runs towards her to hold her. This beautiful girl falls into his arms, and he gently helps her get seated on the ground. So that is it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. So if you like the video, then hit that like button and leave a comment for the next part. Most important, subscribe and press the bell icon for notification. I will meet you in the new video. Till then, bye.